What's it like to be bullied? Most of us can relate to that question. I know if I look at my own life, definitely growing up as a kid, I remember being bullied, especially in grade school. And now as an adult, I can look at different aspects of my life and ask another question. How am I bullying? To bully, by definition, means to seek to intimidate or harm or coerce someone who is perceived as vulnerable. So what are some ways that you or I might inadvertently bully someone else? There's the obvious ways, by show of force or harsh, abusive, violent language. But what about the more subtle ways? How many of you would say, actually, if I'm going to be honest, there are ways I bully myself. There are ways I talk to myself to seek to coerce myself into doing something or not doing something. Things like, why are you so stupid? What's wrong with you? How come you never get it right? This is why blah, 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 fill in the blank. This is why no one likes you. This is why you're not succeeding at work. This is why you don't have the things you want to have in life. How many of our internal conversations with ourselves sound like bullying? They sound like we're attempting to change our behavior by beating ourselves up, by being hard on ourselves, by punishing ourselves for perceived flaws or insecurities or mistakes or failures. And what does that produce? If I'm busy doing that to myself, what happens with all that conversation? I'll tell you what happens. It leaks out. It leaks out in some of my other relationships. The way we talk to ourselves is often the way we talk to others. We just don't always notice it as much. So that's one thing to pay attention to. The second thing is, have you ever thought that over-caring, doing things for people that they could do for themselves, is actually a form of bullying? It seeks to coerce the other person into doing or not doing something through control. Now, when you're on the receiving end of someone that's over-caring, taking care of things for you, taking control of things in your own life, or you would let people do that, what do you feel like? What do you experience? I'm going to submit that if you're honest, it feels like bullying. So for those of us that are on the receiving end of that behavior, definitely feels like we're attempting to be coerced or controlled. And for those of us that are on the giving end of that behavior, in our minds when we're saying, oh, I'm just helping, I'm just taking care of them, are we really paying attention to what our quote unquote care actually is doing to the other person and what's driving that in us? If you're not sure if you're over-caring, check out my video on caretaking. It'll give you a lot of great insight and maybe some revelation. The third thing is, how many of you notice when you're not getting your own way, when a situation or a circumstance isn't turning out the way that you think it should, you immediately go to exercising lots of control. Like the control button gets pushed. You start ordering people around, you withdraw your participation, somehow you get very punitive in those situations. I'll never forget, several years ago, I was traveling abroad and I was in Zambia, where I love to go, and I was in a van with a bunch of people, and it was warm out that day, and so we were working on this little tiny air conditioner that wasn't really cooling the whole van, and at some point we stopped to get some snacks, and a favorite snack in this area of the country we were in is dried fish. Yes, dried fish. And one of the people in the front seat, who's a friend of mine, went to get some dried fish, and he brought the dried fish back in the car, in the van, in the middle of a very warm day. And my response was pretty elevated. I was like, hey, no, we're not doing that. Get it out of the car, etc. And he turned to me, I'll never forget it. He turned to me from the front seat and said, I guess you're going to be quite a bully about this. And I thought, yes, yes, that's exactly what was happening. I was attempting to force or coerce him into not doing the thing that he wanted to do or not doing the thing that he did. I didn't ask any questions. I was not curious. I was not wondering if there were any other options. Hey, could we sit on the side of the road and eat? And then nothing. I immediately went to exercise control, make it stop. So I don't know how many of you can relate to that when it pops up. When things don't go your way, when things are difficult, maybe when you just feel depleted or tired, the control goes way up. And to the other person, it comes across like bullying because the attempt is to control, coerce, manage their behavior. 3 different faces of bullying. Where do you see yourself? What would you like to shift in any of those conversations if you find yourself there? What impact does it have on other people when you imagine that you're caring? However, for them, it comes across like coercion or manipulation. What impact does it have on you when you speak to yourself in that manner? That the only communication that you've allowed to motivate you are things like, why are you so stupid and what's wrong with you? What is it like when things aren't going your way and you immediately escalate and attempt to control all the people around you and all the circumstances? Take a look at your life. Pay attention today, tomorrow, next week, and notice what you notice. If you were a bully, I'm sure you'd want to know. Thank you for watching this video. If this resonated with you, if it sparked new thinking, please like it, comment, let me know some of your own experiences.